Today, the gold standard for the surgeon to repair cartilage is to take cartilage from another part of the body, and that sometimes is actually more painful than the defect site that the tissue is replacing. While I was studying for my PhD, I had the opportunity to join Laboratory of Stem Cells and Tissue Engineering ran by Professor Gordana Novakovic. I decided to grow cartilage in the lab so that we don't have to replace body parts cut from secondary surgery site, but instead grow the cartilage from stem cells.
It was very, very difficult, at that time impossible, to make human cartilage that would look like cartilage and function like cartilage.
It takes about a month and a half to grow a piece of tissues. And no matter what I tried, when we put a lot of stem cells together, they collapse into a spherical ball. It's about 1 or 2 millimeters at most. At a certain moment in the process, it would form a protein matrix that the cells are putting outside the boundary of what they think their body is. These boundary layers is actually blocking these tissues from forming a larger piece of tissues. And that's a problem.
The field has invented about 100 ways to show that it cannot work. The question was, is there a way that you can make it work?
I start around 8:30 and I probably don't leave the lab until 10 p.m. or midnight. There were days that I sleep in the lab. Whatever the experiments need, I would do it. One hypothesis is that, well, maybe the hydrogel is not strong enough. Hydrogel is a type of scaffold that can assist cartilage growth. Okay, let's try different hydrogel. I remember when I opened up the bioreactors, the tissue maintained its shape, but as I press it, plop, collapse.
He was trying and trying and trying. There was never option B. There was always just option A, that he's going to make it work.
One of the key things that Gordana did was to tell me to look into developmental biology.
We realized that maybe the key for making human cartilage in lab is to follow principles that our body is using to make cartilage.
I come back to looking at my data, and I found that the cells are actually mimicking developmental biology. If I could figure out a moment in time during that tissue development before the cells are setting that boundary layer, can I put them together and make a larger cartilage piece? So I ran an experiment collecting samples pretty much every day and looking at how the tissue are forming from day 1 to day 2, 3, 4, 5, down to 7 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and so on. And I start to see that boundary layer development. I press them together. Oh, I got something here. Gordana, feel this. I remember she said, "Hey, this feels like cartilage."
It finally worked.
Did Gordana give you special treatment after that?
Nothing, I guess nothing more special than what Eric got from there, you know. We founded Epibone Inc. from Gordana's lab. We can proudly say that we now manage to grow cartilage tissue in a medically useful sizes. We have our first product in clinical trials.
If something is impossible today, it may not be impossible in a year or 5 years. You need to be brave and ambitious.
What is your next great impossible going to be?
My next great impossible is to make tissue engineer product a clinical reality. Is that fine?